Hi Gemini, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your August 2026 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a 12 card spread with each card representing a different house of the zodiac, starting with your sign, Gemini, as the first house, all the way through to Taurus representing the 12th. As far as the decks being used this month, for the main tarot deck, we have the Hermetic Tarot. For the Oracle deck, we'll be using Wisdom Oracle. And we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where you folks should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have Pisces. So for you guys, Pisces is your 10th house of career and social status. Now I will say we just had the North Node move out of Pisces and into Aquarius. So technically Pisces is a little bit of a quiet area of the zodiac right now, but there will actually be a full moon eclipse in Pisces toward the end of August, so it makes sense to see this come up in that regard. I believe it's going to be the 28th or 29th. Alright, so we have two. So second house energy for you guys is Cancer. Quite a bit going on there. Of course, we had that Mercury retrograde in Cancer recently. So Mercury's still in Cancer until the 9th of August, at which point it'll move into Leo. Mars will also be moving into Cancer on the 11th of August, so that'll actually bring some energy to that area of life for you guys as well. And we have the Sun. So the Sun is currently in Leo, which is your third house of communication, short journeys, and siblings, and then it'll actually move into Virgo, which is your fourth house of home roots and family on the 22nd of August. And of course, the Sun is going to be involved in the eclipse season as well, so it makes sense to see that too. But we'll get started with the main spread. For the first house, we have the Four of Pentacles. So this is Capricorn energy here, and in this deck, it's referred to as the Lord of Earthly Power. So what I'm getting from this, more than anything, sometimes this can be referred to as the Miser card, which the artwork tends to point to that in a lot of decks as well, but here I'm getting more of a strategic type of look on things, right? To where, let's say, for example, we were just talking about you had Mercury retrograde recently in your second house, right? So maybe that was something that had you reevaluating how you handle your finances, right? And not too long ago, you guys also had Jupiter moving through that house for you guys too. So that might have been something where maybe it brought a lot of money your way, right? But for some of you, maybe you were spending it just as quickly as it came in, and now you're reevaluating if that's going to be practical or not. But whatever the case looks like, this is saying that you're taking a more strategic approach to things. So for some of you, yes, it could absolutely be related strictly to finances, but maybe in all areas of your life, you might be taking a more serious outlook toward things. All right, so for your second house, which we saw at the dice as well, we have the Princess of Swords. So in this deck, it's referred to as the Princess of the Rushing Winds. So again, going along with what we were just saying here with the Four of Pentacles, to see this in the second house could just be saying maybe you're thinking of taking some new opportunities on when it comes to your finances. And that's possibly why you're being a little bit more strategic, right? Like, okay, maybe I want to get into this new type of investment, so let me find out what I need to know before I jump in, right? Well, for others of you, you might already be on a path as far as your finances go. That's a little bit different. And because you know that it's a little bit new to you, you're like, okay, let me pace myself here, find out everything I need to know, and grow from that. And for some of you, this could just be saying maybe you're having a lot of conversations with people as well related to finances. So for your third house energy, we have Fortitude. So this is basically the strength card in most decks. It's the major arcana card for Leo. In this deck, it's referred to as the Daughter of the Flaming Sword. So to see this in your communication house, right, could be a good thing or a bad thing, right? The artwork looks a little dramatic. Usually the strength energy or fortitude in this deck tends to point to having the strength to take things on, but also having the restraint to know when it's needed and when it's not, right? So if you look at in traditional tarot, often it looks like a feminine figure with their hand over the mouth of a lion, right? Which is saying that, hey, they're not really exerting force, but they have the presence to know that, okay, if I need to, I could, right? So that could be kind of the energy that you guys are taking on with your communication, or at the very least, maybe you're being encouraged to take on that energy, right? So maybe being a little bit more measured with your words, speaking on important things when it's needed, but if it's like, is this really going to benefit anyone for me to say it? Maybe having that level of restraint there. So for your fourth house of home, roots, and family, we have the Three of Swords. So what we were just talking about there with restraint, right? Maybe within your home and family environment, that might be the most important. We see in this deck it's referred to, if I can get it to focus, there you go, the Lord of Sorrow, right? So that's not a huge leap from what a lot of the artwork and a lot of decks points to for Three of Swords, right? So yeah, more than anything, I feel like this is just saying that, again, combining that with what we were just talking about with the third house energy, right? I feel like this is saying, in your home environment with those closest to you, maybe just be aware that maybe you might come across a little bit more sharp than intended. So if you can have restraint in that regard and just be a little bit more measured with your words, that'd be good. And obviously, if they're coming to you, right, what could you do? But maybe you could show restraint there too, right? That would require a little bit more maturity if that's the case. But that's what it looks like it's pointing to there. So for your fifth house of romance, creativity, and children, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So great energy to see here. This is the card for Jupiter, Lord of the Forces of Life, as it's called in this deck. And seeing this here in a creative house for you guys, right? Libra is your general fifth house, so there's not really much going on there, astrologically speaking. But Jupiter, on the other hand, is in your third house. So when you think about creativity, a lot of that can involve communication, right? Conveying the creative thoughts you have to others, packaging it in a way that's presentable to other people. So I feel like this is saying if that's something that you're looking to do this month, you definitely have the power to do so, and it should go well. For your sixth house of work, health, and daily routines, we have the Last Judgment, the spirit of the primal fire. So sixth house energy for you guys is Scorpio, which is interesting because this basically is a card that represents Scorpio energy. It's the other side of the death card, basically. So the seed is coming up here. Could just be saying that for some of you, maybe you will have an opportunity returned to you. Maybe one that, for whatever reason, you couldn't get off the ground in the past, but now you actually have the opportunity to pursue it if it's something that you'd be interested in. So you can watch out for that opportunity coming your way this month. For your seventh house of partnerships, contracts, and relationships, we have the Queen of Swords. So this is Libra energy here, and as we can see, this artwork's a bit more dramatic than a lot of the Queen of Swords energies that we tend to see, but to me, this could be tying into what I was saying with the fourth house, right? And like we said, this is a powerful energy to have in your communication house. So, again, if anything, like I said, I feel like just be aware of the fact that, again, for a lot of you, I don't even think it would be intentional, right? But you just might come across more sharp, right? Maybe because you have so many things on your mind when it comes to finances. So you're like, okay, a lot of my mental bandwidth is focused on this. So maybe if someone asks me a question, I might come across more abrupt with my answer, and it might come across as if I have an attitude or something, but maybe that's not your intention, right? So just be on the lookout for that. But of course, at its core root, the Queen of Swords is about fairness as well, right? So this could also just be saying that, again, kind of what I was saying, right? If someone's crossing you and trying to get one over on you, looks like you're not really going to be going for that this month. So good luck to them if that's the case. All right, so for your eighth house energy, which points to death, rebirth, and intimacy, and investments as well, you have the Hermit. So this is Virgo energy here. This is another energy that points to restraint, right? So I see this as almost amplifying what we were talking about with the first and second house energies we see. So yeah, I feel like when it comes to finances, you're actually going to be very measured, very strategic this month. Outside of the financial realm, though, right? Maybe things could be a little bit more dicey as far as communication and all that. But yeah, this looks like, to me, this is a good sign that you're going to be very smart about any moves that you make as far as how you invest, what you invest, why you invest, right? So whether we say invest in a sense of finances or your time, your energy, looks like there's going to be a measured approach there. All right, so for your ninth house of philosophy, higher learning, and foreign affairs, we have Temperance. So this is an energy of balance, and this is generally a Sagittarius energy, but seeing this here and thinking about your ninth house being Aquarius, and we have Pluto retrograde in there currently, and like I mentioned, the North Node just got there as well. So I feel like those are two very transformational energies that could actually transmute how you actually look at things. Your beliefs that you might have held for a long time, right? Maybe you start to get insights on things from different angles that might have passed you by before. But I feel like this is saying, whatever the case may be, it looks like you're going to be able to incorporate those things in a positive manner to actually help you grow. All right, so for 10th house, which we saw come up with the dice as well, we have the Princess of Pentacles. So, seeing this here, I get an energy of newness here, similar to what I was saying with the second house energy, right? So yeah, for a lot of you, this could be something new that you're taking on. Now, you could say, well, is it something new or is it something from the past coming back around? I could see how those two energies could work together, right? Because like I said, sometimes the last judgment is maybe something that was offered to you or came to you in the past, but you might not have taken the opportunity at the time. So this could just be saying, putting these all together, maybe now you are taking that opportunity. If that's the case, it looks like there is potential for growth and stability there. It's just one of those things that it's going to require you to actually build on it over time. All right, so for your 11th house energy, which generally points to friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes, we have the Six of Wands. So this is Leo energy here. If you look at the artwork, it actually points to Jupiter in Leo, which, like we mentioned earlier, is actually the current transit that's going on right now. And given that that's a communication house for you, right? Friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes could be very heavily tied to communication and how you communicate as well. So yeah, looks like for the most part, with the groups you deal with, looks like it will be received well with your communication, right? Like I said, ironically, it might be those closest to you where there might be the most hiccups when it comes to communication. But it looks like you will receive some positive recognition this month from the people you interact with a lot. And for the 12th house energy, which in general is going to point to mental health, blind spots, and spirituality, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So this is Capricorn energy here. So even this, looking at this energy, to me, this is another indicator of what I said. I feel like you're going to be very measured in a lot of ways. Again, like I said, it seems like it could be a small hiccup as long as you come into it with that awareness. But with your closest connections, maybe there is the potential for for some bumps in the road with communication. But again, like I said, I feel like it might just be that there's so much on your mind that you might come across differently than intended, and then that could just exacerbate the issue. So just be on the lookout for that. All right, and bottom of the deck, we have the High Priestess. So another good thing to see here, because I feel like this is saying intuitively you're going to be pretty sharp as well. You guys recently have Uranus in your sign, but given that it's in such early degrees, for a lot of you, it could still be in more of the 12th house subconscious type of energy for you guys. We also have Chiron technically in your 12th as well. It's going to start a retrograde on the 3rd of August, but I feel like this is more pointing to what we were saying with Uranus. It could just be still playing out in more subconscious ways for the time being. But this is a good indicator that intuitively you'll pick up on things more likely before they happen, and because of that, I feel like this makes it a little bit more likely that you would be able to avoid some conflict and sorrow if that's something you were trying to avoid. So lastly, we'll pull an oracle card. So I'm going to actually give this a few shuffles, and then we'll cut the deck and pull a card. All right, let's see what you got. All right, we have Message in a Bottle. There's the artwork, and the number is 15. So yeah, so this could be pointing to what we were saying with the Last Judgment, right? For an opportunity coming back your way, but we'll see what it mentions in the book. All right. Excuse me. Central meanings says communication, a sign, a Clayton, the ancient name for a spontaneous oracle delivered innocently by the speaker, pointing the way to your highest good. The oracle's message: Spirit sends you signs when you ask for them, when you believe you will receive them, And when you allow yourself to become fluent in the language of symbols, oracles, and omens, they may come to you as a bird flying by, a logo on a truck, and a song on the radio. Expect confirmation that you're pointed in the right direction. Keep your ears open, for someone might say just the right thing that will give you the answer to your query. Today, your message is this: Spirit hears you, and the reply is favorable. So yeah, I do like the message there, especially seeing the Jupiter energy in your fifth house. Like we said, the High Priestess at the bottom of the deck, pointing to strong intuitive insights. But hopefully that resonated. The relationship message says you can expect someone to favor you with positive news. This could be in the form of a letter, phone call, or email. You are the intended receiver of this message, so stay open to what you learn. Only good will come of it in the end. The signs are all there. So yeah, like I said, for whatever reason, with your closest relationships, there could be some bumps in the road, but fifth house could point to romance as well, and we do see the wheel of fortune there. So maybe that could be what's at play for bringing those messages your way too. The prosperity message says you are on target with your purpose and your passion. You are coming into alignment with your destiny, and Spirit wants you to know that you're on the right track. Expect a call, a new opportunity, or a message from an old friend or business contact that will lead you closer to your dreams and your greatest desires. Spirit has been listening to you. So yeah, that was an interesting last sentence there, right? Because for some of you, maybe if you've been looking to get out of a situation that maybe wasn't working for you anymore, it sounds like it's saying that maybe the opportunity could be coming your way this month. So yeah, overall, it's like a pretty solid reading. Hopefully that resonated with you guys, and we'll wrap up there. All right, bye.